again, I'm not a specialist. I'm just talking about my mental process and some of the things that I've put in place, some of the methodology that I put in place to help me deal with very stressful situations or very challenging situations that can happen in life and that will happen in life, for as long as we are alive, indeed, and there's different degrees in stress and all of these experiences that can lead one to feel, like they're going to lose control. In my case, so I haven't been able to sleep very well for the past, I'd say the past 3 months and a half, at least. And I've only been sleeping 4.5 hours, at most 5. And I mean, I was functioning, I've always been functioning, working out, staying busy. I mean, I'm always busy. There's not a day I'm not busy. And if anything, I think I overwhelmed myself with too much work. The word, I've overworked myself. And so, and in doing so, I was just, working extensive hours, and having very little time to sort of like focus on me. But that's not necessarily true, because I think that every morning, my ritual being that before I do anything, I take the dog out and, clean up, whatever, and I'll go into this full 1 hour and 30 minutes of, me time, where I'm meditating, stretching, working out, doing my push-ups, my abs, whatever the case may be, lifting weight. And, I do that every day without a miss, almost. The only place I don't necessarily get to do it is when I visit parents, and because, it's a full feast of food and just lovely culinary stuff. So I basically work out during the week to prepare for the weekends, in other words. But you see, I realized that, and because again, for me, and I don't advise anyone to do it. I mean, it works for me, and to a certain extent, I think a couple of times I've had to go and consult with people who understood how the mind functioned to help me sort of like process certain things, such as stress or moments in life that appear to be super complicated to deal with. But for the most part, I've always been able to identify when there was an issue or something that caused me to be troubled or to feel overwhelmed and losing control. But it never took me to a point, well, as far as I can recollect memories of extremely difficult experiences, I rarely had issues of that magnitude on Friday. The same kind of issue, the same kind of manifestation that happened to me. And so, before I explain to you what happened on Friday, I want to, set a little bit of an explanation of how this whole thing came about, I think, to my observation. And, Luna, Kukush. That one, she's trying to hump the pillow. Working out every day, making sure that I'm on the healthy side, taking care of myself, meditating, etc. Great. My question is then, have I really dug deep enough? And I think in various occasions I became predetermined or determined, in the sense that I became mechanical about my movements, right? And I think at a certain point, when you're so used to do the same thing every day, it's you literally, you're conditioned, right? So it's a great thing, I've conditioned my system to, function in a way that um, you know, allows me to, or forces me to not start my day without stretching and working out and meditating. And by meditating, I'll elaborate on that. But doing these three things, very important. Obviously, taking a shower twice a day, that's an absolute necessity. But so, when you start looking deeper into these things, like, okay, shit, it became such a granted thing. I started to, not granted, but it became so, it is such an habit in me that I have not really taken the time to identify as deeply as I needed certain things. One observation. The other one is, I think I have acknowledged that there was something, a lot of stuff that stressed me out, and I felt like I couldn't really do much about them. So I've always been very good at, what I cannot control, I try not to stress over. That's been my motto. To the limit of my capacity, of course. There are certain things that, are harder to do than others, right? And for example, I'm still having this breathing issue. So I've noticed that at night, I'm having this the stress of the day settles down at night, but then gives me this short breath, like I have right now, for example. So, but again, I come out of a situation that happened to me on Friday, which was like crazy. Like I really felt like, God, my heart was gonna explode or something. My chest was tight, my throat was, it was just messed up. And so what I did is that I started to really dig deep into some of the things that may have caused it, and for me, it's really related to my profession and to work and getting things done, and I'm a result-oriented type of person. So, and I love the process. I love even though it can be super, super freaking difficult and very challenging, I do enjoy even the struggle of it, because I consider that it's like a boot camp. It's like, I am being prepared for something greater, and I'm preparing myself for something greater, because I do believe that you can only be shaped through indeed a certain level of pain and a certain level of sacrifice and a certain level of consenting to go the extra mile, so that you can actually get certain things, see certain things through. And so maybe, and certainly, have I been demanding too much of myself? Probably. Have I been also maybe victim of toxic positivity? Maybe, even though I'm very good at not being hard on myself, to a point where I beat myself up if I wake up and didn't do my workout or whatever. Like it happens, but it's indeed so rare that it's not even a thing that causes me disruption. So what is it? And so you have to tap into your deeper spheres and some of the things that may have happened, years ago. For example, me, I have a thing with making sure that I do everything to maintain a quality of life that is of a certain level, and that does mean that I have to be super rich, uber rich, which I wouldn't mind, and I'm not minding to be. Obviously, I'm working towards having a level of financial achievement that is beyond what I have right now. But there's a process to everything, right? So to everything, but all that comes from sentiment or an experience of poverty, an experience of a certain level of poverty or lack thereof that I've experienced in my past. So I've said before, when COVID hit, like Yeah, besides the fact that, okay, we were confined home, like being home, not working was never really a thing that, affected me that much because, I had been used to it for quite some time in the past. So, it was all right. I think that, however, the fact that we are in the second year really, and there is no perception on the future, to a certain extent, latently had some sort of impact. But at the same time, as I said, I've learned to train my mind to just to deal with what it can actually control. Feel me? It's like I can't control what's coming tomorrow, but I can control what I'm doing right now and make plans according to what I am building upon now, right? Without the certitude, the certainty that it's going to come through. Obviously, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day, but you make plans and you set up goals and visions and you align yourself energetically, in terms of frequency, in terms of your vibration, your mental vibration, everything. You try to like really be, breathe, sweat, drink, eat what it is that you want to be, the future self, which is now. You know what I mean? You're building what is coming now. So, and what is now is a result of what was yesterday. So, unless you decide that what was yesterday is going to consist of a weakness, and definitely there are certain aspects of what happened to you yesterday, not as in yesterday, it could be yesterday, but in the past, that can be consisting of little breaches, in the manufacturing of, or in the manufacture of who you are or who you try to be. But I believe that if you're really self-conscious, in the sense that you conscious of self, you're conscious of how you function, of how your mind flows, of what triggers you, and how to handle certain informations, I'm very confident that you're going to be capable to see through, and get to the completion of the self that you're trying to build, or you're trying to see coming to you or manifesting. You're gonna see that it's gonna happen, because not only have you aligned your thoughts, but you've aligned your whole behavior, your whole self with that, vision.